Alright everyone, it's time to dig into another issue of Green Lantern. This time around, everything is coming to a head, things are changing, people are exploding, so let's get into it. Green Lantern number 17 is written by Jeremy Adams with art by Zermanico, colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and letters by Dave Sharp. The title of this issue is Civil Corps Part 2 Power Transfer. Everybody is converging on the planet Oa. Shroud and the Durlan Council members have arrived, and now that Tharos is believed to be dead, Varen intends to claim the power of the Source Lantern for himself. Also, apparently Tharos is Varen's uncle? War Journal made it seem like Varen was some stupid rich kid that Tharos was doing favors for because he had an influential family, and that's just how corrupt politicians stay in power. But whatever, they're related, I guess. The Durlans don't actually want Shroud to get what he wants. Now that Tharos is gone, they stand to inherit everything as the remaining members of the United Planets Council. So they send a message to the Unseeing to intercept Varen and hopefully eliminate the problem once and for all. Speaking of the Unseeing, they've captured Jessica Cruz and are torturing her for information. It was only a matter of time until they figured out she was a spy for the Resistance, so hopefully Jessica was able to prepare for this. Although Yellow Lantern Kilowog is a wild card she didn't see coming. The Unseeing get called away by the Durlans, leaving Kilowog and Jessica alone, and I wonder if her relationship to Fear and her time as the Yellow Lantern will let her do anything here. Can she free herself, or maybe even help snap Kilowog out of this trance he seems to be under? I guess it's entirely possible this could go the other way, and Jess will end up just like Kilowog, which would be a pretty big blow to the Resistance. Speaking of which, in a move that I'm sure isn't foreshadowing anything, the Resistance is taking shelter in the Crypt. It's actually kind of weird for me to see this so soon after revisiting Blackest Night, since that story ended with the Corps deciding to stop using Oa's Crypt, and instead lay fallen lanterns to rest on Mogo. Guy uses this moment of downtime to pass out the remaining rings that Jadestone brought to the Justice League Watchtower. This actually makes that scene in the Civil Corps special make more sense, since Hal said Jadestone was bringing multiple rings while only Guy seemed to get a new one. They were preparing to arm the Resistance on Oa. Guy gives one of the rings to Joe, and Razor is also holding one, so does that mean Razor is going to be using one of the rings? Later we see Simon and Salak fly into battle with the rest of the group, so presumably they're both wearing new rings, because why would you want to rely on a strike team using weapons that the enemy could just shut down at any moment? If that's the case, then all 6 of the new rings linked to the central battery on Earth have been accounted for. Hal, Guy, Joe, Simon, Salak, and I guess Razor are all using them. Maybe it's not Razor. 2-6 and Batch were also there, so maybe it went to one of them. Either way, anyone who doesn't have a ring that's linked to the central battery on Earth will have to wait a while for more to be made. The Resistance intends to wait for Hal and John to arrive before making their next move, but Ellie appears and warns them that time has run out. They need to move now if they expect to save Kelly and take back Oa. Ellie has apparently been in some sort of psychic contact with Kelly and seems determined to help her. They actually show up to help Kelly right when the Unseeing is battling Shroud, and it erupts into chaos with Alan having a rematch against the Unseeing, while everyone else fights Varen. Alan is finally able to overpower the Unseeing, and they just suddenly die and turn into skeletons? I mean, okay, maybe Alan's attack killed them, but why did all 3 of them dissolve into nothing but smoldering bones? Amidst the fighting, Varen found the Source Ring, something that Tharos had his scientists create to tap into and control the power of the Source Lantern. Varen heads straight for the Source Lantern and enters it to claim his prize. Ordinarily, this would be the most important thing to deal with, but Mogo is still overflowing with rage and is heading straight towards Oa, for a repeat of what happened to Thanagar. Hal and John are just barely staying ahead of Mogo and are trying to send a message to evacuate everyone. And they realize that Mogo probably should have reverted back to normal by now, so this likely means that Tharos is still alive somehow. And right on cue, Tharos arrives in the skies above Oa, overflowing with power from the Dark Star Ring, proclaiming himself to be the Dark Star. Mogo fires a blast that destroys all of the Durlan ships, and I'm not sure, but that may be the end of the entire fake United Planets Council. Before Mogo can do anything else, Sinestro shows up and slams into Mogo like a meteor. Sinestro has been on a crusade to find out who's responsible for attacking his homeworld of New Korugar and destroying the Yellow Central Battery, and he finally figured out that the whole thing was done by Green Lanterns, so now he's here for revenge. Sinestro is so angry. His rage is even greater than Mogo's, and he's actually able to drain the rage out of Mogo and into himself. So Sinestro just got a whole lot more powerful, while Mogo was returned to normal, drifting, wounded, and unconscious, but free from Tharos' control. Back on Oa, the rest of the Resistance is still holed up in the crypt, and I'm sorry, but last issue I thought there was some kind of art mistake, and they drew a random alien Green Lantern to look like St. Walker. But now he's wearing a Blue Lantern uniform. This is just St. Walker! Why is nobody even mentioning the fact that St. Walker is here? How is this not a big deal? Well, we know why Kyle hasn't said anything. He's been preoccupied with his connection to the emotional spectrum being tied in knots by everything Tharos has done. Kyle Rayner is the only person to become a White Lantern through his own hard work. Everyone else who's ever been a White Lantern was handed the power, while Kyle trained to achieve that state himself. So it stands to reason that he has a stronger connection to the emotional spectrum than any other Lantern, which has been causing him a great deal of distress over the last few months. But now Shroud has breached the Source Lantern, and the survival of everything has come down to the next few moments. Kyle stands up and erupts with White Lantern energy before flying off to stop Varen. This is incredible. I didn't expect Kyle to go Super Saiyan and save the day. And neither did anyone else, since Hal is thoroughly confused when he sees Kyle fly through the air and enter the Source Lantern. For what it's worth, he seems pretty confident, which I'll take as a good sign since nobody can follow him in there. We actually get a look at the conflict inside of the Source Lantern, and I don't know what the hell is going on. Kyle appears to be having a hard time, and Varen is either absorbing all of the power into himself, or he's being attacked by all of these people lining the inner walls of the Source Lantern. Maybe these are the Guardians. Is this where they went? The previous run of Green Lantern, written by Jeffrey Thorne, did stress that the Guardians are ancient beings who only take physical form by choice. So maybe their energy rejoined the spectrum through the Source Lantern, or something. Now, I want to talk briefly about where this could all be going, because I think there's a decent chance that the total number of Green Lanterns in the universe is about to become a lot smaller. For a while now, they've been telling us how bad things have become, with Tharos weeding out veteran Green Lanterns and only recruiting new Lanterns who will be loyal to him. Lanterns who are poorly trained and cruel. Around the same time, we got the reveal of the Central Battery on Earth, and the mechanism to slowly create new rings tied to that battery. This all made me believe that maybe something would happen to the old Green Lantern Corps. Maybe it would fall or be depowered or become something else. And the universe wouldn't have a Green Lantern Corps anymore. So it would be up to Hal and the other humans to rebuild using the equipment on Earth. And we would come out of this with a new Green Lantern Corps made of the human characters and eventually build it up very slowly by making more batches of rings and giving them to all the most popular alien characters, allowing the Corps to have a variety while also remaining small. I think this may be the same approach taken with the other Lantern Corps as well. Every central battery, except for maybe Indigo, has been neutralized, which means that any effort to rebuild each Corps would be slow and difficult. And that's a perfect excuse to reduce every other Lantern Corps down to just their most popular members. Because think about it, there have been a lot of Blue Lanterns, but most of them were just background characters to make the Corps feel large. Some of them got named once or twice, but never said or did anything memorable. The only Blue Lanterns we have any real investment in are St. Walker and Worth, so maybe for the time being they could be the only Blue Lanterns. The same goes for the Star Sapphires. If you take Fatality out of it, since she hasn't been a Sapphire for a long time now, the only Star Sapphire besides Carol that people actually know is Miri. And every Corps is like this. Each Lantern Corps can get away with having between 2 and 10 members without any important characters being left out. The exception being the Green Lantern Corps, since it's had the most time to accumulate memorable fan-favorite characters. So what made me think about all this right now? Well, we just saw some, if not all, of the fake United Planets Council explode. And before exploding, they told us that all of their forces, their entire armada, and every single United Planets lantern have all been ordered to converge on Oa. So the entirety of the corrupt Green Lantern Corps will be assembled in one place, right when this whole mess seems ready to come crashing down. I'm expecting big things to happen next time. So that's issue number 17. Now I want to know what you think. What's about to happen to the Source Lantern? Were you surprised to see Kyle become a White Lantern again? Why won't anyone acknowledge that St. Walker is here? Tell me all about it in the comments section down below, and subscribe if you haven't already, because it seems like a lot is about to change for Green Lantern, and I look forward to discussing it with all of you. Thank you for taking the time to watch. My name is Dan. We'll talk again soon.